House Republicans will meet for a candidate forum this evening with these 9 Republicans now vying for the job. Former Speaker designee Jim Jordan dropped out of the running on Friday after he lost a third floor vote. Let's go to the Hill and NBC's Ali Vitale, and also with us, former Florida Republican Congressman Carlos Curbelo. Okay, Ali, just, if you will, walk us through what the next 24 hours might look like.
It's going to be a lengthy process here, Anna, because there's a lot of faces and a lot of names on that graphic that you just put on the screen. A lot of members of the House Republican Conference woke up this morning, looked in the mirror, and saw the next House Speaker. Whether or not they're going to be able to get there, though, is going to require them to, A, start tonight by pitching themselves in front of the entire Republican Conference. It's going to be a Q&A style, behind closed doors, talking to the people whose votes they hope to earn. Then you'll move on to tomorrow morning, and this is where the really lengthy and potentially convoluted process starts. They'll once again go behind closed doors and vote by secret ballot. Only the difference between doing it tomorrow and the way we've seen it done in the past is it's not just 2 names on the ballot to choose between. Now they're choosing between 9, which means that this is a much lengthier process, because with each round, whoever gets the least number of votes in the room is going to drop out, and then that means that they have at least 1 less candidate to consider during each balloting round. Now, this process ends whenever someone gets the majority of the votes in the room. We're not sure what the exact number is going to be, but around 220 Republicans are expected to be in the room tomorrow voting by secret ballot. At whatever point someone gets that magic majority, then they are the person who's next to go to the floor. They are the next speaker designate. That title has not fared well for the last 2 men who held it, Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan, but Republicans are hoping now, after multiple weeks and times of failure, they could get a speaker.
And so, Congressman, 9, that is a huge number now in the running, and we showed their faces. What's your reaction to just how many people have thrown their names into the ring?
Well, Anna, this is historic and it's remarkable. I mean, it speaks to the vacuum of power that has been left right in the middle of the House Republican Conference. Typically, these races for leadership, there's 2, maybe 3 candidates. A lot of times people run unopposed because they have so much support within their respective caucuses. So this shows you how unstable the House Republican Conference is right now. It shows you that really there is no leadership structure, that this is a wide open race. Sure, a lot of people are saying Tom Emmer might be the slight favorite because he's currently the whip, he has an organization, but really anything can happen. The big question will be whoever emerges from this conclave, right, from this Republican conclave on Tuesday, will a sufficient number of Republicans hold, stay with them, join them, so that they can get the requisite 217 votes? It has not been a problem, as Ali said, for Republicans to pick a speaker designate. It's been a problem for that person to get enough support from the conference on the floor of the House.
And so, Ali, is there any indication that one of these 9 is a front runner who could actually get the vote?
We'll see, but there are efforts underway now to fix a problem that has plagued the last few rounds of this, which is people voting behind closed doors and on a secret ballot one way, and then changing the way that they vote on the floor, or voting one way on a public ballot and then changing it on the second or third. That's something that Republicans are trying to avoid for whoever the next speaker designate is by having a pledge be circulated, and Congressman Flood is leading this charge. And the pledge effectively says, hey, I'm going to vote for whoever I vote for behind closed doors on the floor, and I will keep voting for whoever the speaker designate is until they're not the speaker designate anymore. It's nice in theory. It could solve one of the big problems that has plagued this process, but I've heard from already at least 1 Republican member who said, no way, I'm not going to sign that. In large part, it speaks to the divides that we were just talking about. The idea that there are so many different factions within this Republican conference that not all of them could get behind someone, for example, like Tom Emmer. Maybe they have disagreements with him over the ways that he voted to certify the 2020 election results, because I do think that's an important thing to point out here, only 2 of the 9 candidates on this list, Emmer and Austin Scott, voted to certify the 2020 election results. The rest of them voted to decertify and continue the idea of the big lie even after January 6th. I think that's a really important thing to note. Again, it speaks to where the Republican conference is now, that the majority of the people who they're putting forward for this job to put them in the presidential line of succession voted to decertify the 2020 election results.
So let's put those pictures back up, because one thing you'll notice when you look at all the candidates in the running is it's not a very diverse group. And yesterday, former Speaker Newt Gingrich suggested that may be part of the problem. Take a look.
I think in some ways, given the level of rowdiness and the level of juvenile behavior, it's conceivable that a female speaker would be more effective in actually getting them all to get together and stick together.
So, Congressman, why no women in the running? And what does the current pool of candidates tell you about the Republican caucus?
Well, Anna, a lot of people have looked to Elise Stefanik, but she has kept a very low profile in all of this. She has kind of been waiting to see how this all shakes out. I think there's a lot of Republicans like her, like Patrick McHenry, who could aspire to leadership, who see the chaos in the conference and say, no, thanks. Let's let someone else take this job. So that's really dissuading people. I mean, there are Hispanics. There's a record number of Hispanics in the House Republican Conference. None of them have stepped forward. I think a lot of people are just really concerned that this is a miserable job, even if they're able to get those 217 votes on the floor. What happens when someone files a motion to vacate? What happens when members of your own party take down a rule? This is a very unattractive job. It's not nearly as powerful as it has been in the past. And, look at Kevin McCarthy. He was able to get the vote after giving many concessions, and his speakership ended up being one of the shortest in history. So you can understand why a lot of people aren't taking a step forward, but sure, it would be much better if there was a more diverse set of candidates running for this job.
Yeah, I was looking at that video. That was Patrick McHenry. He was the interim speaker, still is technically. He did not throw his hat into the ring. He wants no part of it. Former Congressman Carlos Cabello, Ali Vitale. Got to leave it there, guys. Thank you.